Good morning, y'all. Welcome to a morning and an evening of farm chores with me. So the idea for this video came from a follower request on what we feed our animals. So I'm going to just take y'all along for the morning chores and the evening chores, showing you how I get everything done with all the kids and what we feed our animals, how they graze, all the things around our homestead, all the livestock, all the animals. So I hope you enjoy spending the morning chore time with me and the evening chore time with me. When we first started getting livestock and these morning chores started happening, I was like, wow, there is a lot to do. And it really overwhelmed me at first. We started really just a few farm animals, and then we've added since. But I remember being very overwhelmed at first at all the things I had to do in the morning. But now it's just part of my day and part of the day that I actually really enjoy. So usually I have 2 kids awake for these morning chores. Sometimes I have 3, but 2 of my 3 children usually go with me. If the third one's here, they're on the front of the stroller or they walk along beside. So we head to the barn first thing and get the animals out. So we have 2 animals that come into our barn at night, most nights. Sometimes they stay in the pasture, and that is our miniature horse and our Dexter Jersey cow, Sunshine. So they both come in most nights just because we want to keep Sunshine in the habit of coming in for milking times. Whenever we are milking her, we believe she is bred, so we'll be milking her next spring. So we just have the habit of bringing her in each night. And her friend, his name is Hooch, he comes in with her because when you leave one out in the pasture without the other, they get very lonely. So I start by taking both of them out to the pasture, and they both lead very well, so this is not a difficult task. Sometimes it's a little difficult to steer the stroller and lead the animal, but they're used to following along by the stroller, and it's just part of our routine now, and they are very good with it. I've learned just to take this slow. I used to try to rush through this and get it done as fast as possible, but it's much more enjoyable. It's a beautiful time outside early in the mornings and just being with the animals, and I've learned just to not rush it, just be slow with it and be intentional with it and enjoy this time outside with my kids and with our animals. Now to the cow. She is a little more stubborn sometimes, as cows can be, but she does still lead very well. She's a little hesitant sometimes to put on her lead rope, but overall she's very, very well trained compared to many cows that I've heard of, and just hope that we will have good success with bringing her in and out to milk her when she hopefully calves next spring. So I don't actually feed either of these animals in the morning. They will eat grass all day. She did get a little snack of hay on the way out in our barn. This is not the optimal place to keep our hay bales, but it's the only place we have for them right now until we get this barn finished. Our barn is a complete gut remodel. We've gutted most of this barn, the inside of it, and have rebuilt walls, rebuilt structures, and so that it fits our liking for our homesteading needs. So the hay bales are just kind of in the middle of the hallway right now, which is not optimal, but it works for this season until we get a better spot for the hay. On the way back to the barn, I grab a handful of zinnias. This is our rabbit's favorite snack, and when I can, I like to give our rabbit vegetation leaves crops because I don't like feeding animals prefabricated food as much as I don't have to. So we'll talk more about what we feed the other animals later tonight, but in the mornings and the evenings, I grab the rabbits a handful of zinnias. They love these, or any crops we have out in the garden, extra weeds, anything that I can grab that's lush green vegetation, they absolutely love. As long as I have these flowers growing, I will continue to feed them to our rabbits. Next, I'm letting out our chickens. So we used to just let our chickens' cage stay open all the time. We were having trouble with getting eggs. We still have trouble getting eggs, but we do actually now cage them up at night, and then I let them out every morning. So this is just an electric fence cage, a temporary fencing until we get our chicken coop revamped. We actually are redoing our chicken coop as well. There's a lot of things around here we are redoing, but this is a temporary fence to keep them in the evenings, and that kind of entices them to go into their coop at night. We had a few chickens that wanted to stay out and roost all throughout our barn, and this just kind of entices them to go in each night, and then I let them out each morning to free range and graze throughout the day. Next is cleanup time. So this is not the most glamorous of my morning chores, but this is just part of the task now, and I just do it. It's actually not that big of a deal. If my son had had shoes on, he would have helped me, but he did not wear shoes this morning, so I just handled the cleaning of the stalls, all the messes that cows and horses make in their stalls. That will pretty much wrap up our morning chores for the animals. Now we have some other animals that you haven't seen yet. You'll see some of those tonight, but that is our morning task. We do have some baby chicks right now, and my husband actually checks on those in the morning, checking their water and their feed. That's just kind of his little project, is the baby chicks in the brooder. So he has already checked on those before he has gone to work this morning. Then I finished up the morning chores with hanging the laundry. It's just part of the ending to my morning. My daughter gets to get out and play in the fresh grass, and it's just a relaxing, peaceful time for us all to stand at the laundry line and hang the laundry. You're not going to see the rest of my day, but most of this day was spent checking on puppies. Our miniature Australian Shepherd had puppies the night before this video, so I was running on about 30 minutes of sleep when I'm filming these videos that day. So my day was spent mostly resting, taking it easy, and checking on puppies. We were making sure all the puppies were nursing well, and their mom was allowing them to nurse and not roll over on them. So that's what most of my day and afternoon entailed, the part of this video that you aren't seeing. But we had the sweetest little 5 puppies that night, and I was very sleep deprived, but it was a very fun day of seeing our dog be the best mom, and just the natural instincts that animals have. I think humans could learn so much from animals about birth and mothering and just trusting your instincts. Dogs know, any animal, they know exactly what to do for their young, and no one has ever taught them. And I think, I didn't even mean for this video to be about this, but I think many times we as mothers, we rely on outside sources so much to tell us how to birth, what to do for our bodies, what to feed our children, all those things. And dogs and animals in general are just so intuitive about this. Watching her birth these puppies and then nurse them and care for them this entire day was just such a beautiful experience. One I haven't seen this close up and personal before, and hope to see more of our animals birth and mother soon here on our homestead. So moving into the evening, after playing with puppies all day and checking on puppies and making sure everybody was okay, I am cooking dinner, and then either between the dinner cooking or after dinner we'll do farm chores. It varies. Most of the days is after dinner, but if I have a longer dinner that needs to cook, like say something that needs to cook for 30 or 40 minutes, that's when we'll head out and do part of the farm chores. On this night we actually didn't do chores until after dinner, which was a beautiful breakfast board. So I head out again, strap the kids in the stroller. This time I have 2 kids again, but it's a different 2 kids. Heading out to get the cow. So normally I would get the horse first because he's really ready to come out when I get out there, but my son was going to be riding him this evening, so my husband and him took care of the horse on this night, so I only had to bring in the cow. Bring her in just like I brought her out this morning. And so if we were milking, this will be one of the times I would be bringing her in to milk. Hopefully that's coming soon, and I can't wait to bring y'all along for all of that and the learning journey of milking a cow. This will be our first for our cow. We've milked a couple of our friends' cows to help them out before, but this will be our first experience milking daily for our own milk needs, which we're very excited about. So I will bring y'all along for that for sure, hopefully next spring. Then I have to put the chickens up pretty much immediately. I can't feed any of the other animals with the chickens up because they will just barge in like they own the barn. So I'm bribing the chickens to their pen with some scraps. So if I have kitchen scraps, I'll just feed them kitchen scraps that night because they have foraged all day, and my belief is that if animals are able to forage on what God intended them to forage on, they shouldn't need to be fed every single day. So now let's talk about feed. We have been using this feed called Nature Crest, and this is from a family-owned company called Tucker Milling, and they have a variety of animal feeds, and all of these things are GMO free, meaning they do not use any soy or corn products in their feed so that it's not genetically modified, because corn and soy are the most genetically modified foods now. I'm not saying that this is the best option to feed, because I'm sure this food is not perfectly grown and not sprayed with anything, but in our area this is the best that we have with the means that we have right now. So eventually we would like to make more of our own feed mixes, especially for our cow when she is milking. But right now we have chosen to feed this Nature Crest food. It's from a family-owned company based out of Alabama, and all of their food is United States based. Like I said, most of our animals, all of our animals pretty much, eat the foods that God created them to eat. So our cows eat grass, our pigs forage for grass and foliage and acorns and grubs, our chickens forage for worms and crickets and grubs. And as much as I can, I want our animals to eat what God intended them to eat. With that being said, there is a time that you probably need to supplement. I know there's farms that rotationally graze and they don't have to supplement with food because animals are constantly getting fresh rotation of grasses and grubs and worms, but we're not there yet. So we do supplement with a little bit of feed for all of our animals, but they don't get fed every single day. Since we got our timber cleared this summer, we now moved our pigs back to our back pond, which is quite a hike, and that's why we don't feed them every day. They have plenty of vegetation to forage. I'm going to try to walk and push the stroller with the girls and not spill the pig feed at the same time, but we had the pigs right in our back pasture at our front pond, and I was able to take them scraps like daily. Anything I had in the kitchen extra, we took it to them. It was just a daily task. Well, now that they're at the back 40, that doesn't happen. So I feel kind of bad because I know they loved the fresh kitchen scraps, but this will eventually be smoothed pasture and I'll be able to come out here more again. So it's just a season, and I can't hold this camera and push this stroller very well. But anyways, we only feed these pigs like pig feed 2, maybe 3 times a week. 1, because we don't want them eating that much grain. 2, it's quite a trek to get down here. Gotta get way down there through all of this. You can tell when your animals are needing food, and they're going to let you know. So that's kind of what we go by. If they're really, really scrounging and really, really following us, we know that they need a little bit of supplemental feed. They're not getting quite enough from what they need on the pastures that they're on or the area that they're grazing, because we don't have tons and tons of acres for our animals to graze, and we actually just got some timber cleared to make more pasture land for other things to thrive, for animals to forage. So this is all a process, and we are getting there, and it's just been a journey, and this is how we feed our animals right now. This whole wooded area behind me, as well as they can wade out a little bit into that pond, and there's like a ditch here that's like a nice pig waller when it's rained and there's enough rain for them to waller in. When we moved them down here, we'd had tons of rain, so like our littlest piglet had to swim. It was so deep. Now it's completely dried up. Let's roll. Hold that handle and let's roll. Lastly, we gather the eggs. Like I said, we've had ups and downs with our egg production. On this night, you'll see this was not the best of nights for eggs. Some nights I get 5 eggs, some nights I get 11 eggs. It really varies. I have not decided if our chickens are hiding some eggs from us somewhere and we just can't find the hiding spot since they do free range, because when we keep them locked up all the time, we get pretty consistently 10 eggs. But I hate leaving our chickens locked up because then I have to feed them every day, and just the eggs aren't as rich and bright and orange and delicious. So I'll just take getting a few extra eggs a day to have free range eggs. And some of our chickens aren't even laying yet. You probably saw our flock is huge, but some of those chickens are only about 5 or 6 months old, so they're just on the verge of starting to lay. Ending out, you see my son and my husband riding the horse, and they will take care of putting him up and feeding him for the night. But that's a little peek into our morning and evening farm chores. feeding the animals, gathering eggs, putting animals up, putting them in their proper homes, making sure animals have water. And we did this all as a family. My son and daughter help with all of this. They hang along, they watch us do this, and they like to scoop food and put it in animals' bowls and just be part of the process. And as they get older, I know it's kind of hard to push the stroller around now and take them along for every step, but as they get older, they'll know exactly what to do, and I'll be able to send them out to do these chores. I've heard so many homestead moms talk about how it's worth it to bring your little kids along when they're little, teach them the process of feeding and taking care of animals and things around the homestead, and it will pay off when they get older. So thank y'all for joining us for this farm chore video, and I will see y'all in a future one.